Dharma circle. So I've been having a lot of great conversations this week with people who are interested in embodied Vedic astrology and even ancestral work, and using Jyotish in a more embodied way. And here's the thing that I'm noticing. People are not making the connection between using Jyotish for ancestral work and healing work and just studying Jyotish as a way to, learn more about themselves. And I really, I understand we want to learn about ourselves and we need to grow and know thyself. And certainly Vedic astrology is a wonderful resource for that. But here's the problem. If you're not using Jyotish with the understanding of your ancestral work and your ancestral body, you're really missing the point. 75% of your karma is ancestral. This karma that you're working with in your body, in your life, is primarily ancestral. So this requires a great awareness around what is my ancestral work. What am I actually here to transform, heal, and overcome in order to liberate myself? Everyone wants liberation, everyone wants moksha, everyone wants enlightenment, and all these big words that are thrown around in the spiritual communities. But what is that really? And so here's the other side of it. I see all these people doing saying they're doing their ancestral work or their healing work or whatever, they go to therapy or they're doing their yoga or whatever it is that you're doing for healing, but you're not really doing your ancestral work. And this is my biggest problem with therapy, in fact, is that it doesn't go deep enough. It doesn't go into epigenetics. It doesn't understand this didn't start with you. And no, it didn't even start in your childhood. We're talking generations of karma that you're working with in your body and in your life. And yes, your Jyotish chart beautifully explains what this ancestral karma is that you're here to work through. But you're not really doing your healing work or even your ancestral work if you're not doing grief work, if you're not doing trauma work, if you're not doing shadow work. And ultimately, the ancestral work is what holds all of this. And yes, you should be using your Jyotish chart for the ancestral body, the purpose of healing your ancestral body. And this isn't about just healing you, it's about the lineage. So this is my problem with what's going on in the Jyotish world, in the healing world, and even in the spiritual communities. There's a lot of spiritual bypassing happening because here's the other thing that I hear a lot. Oh yeah, I'm doing my ancestral work and it's all gratitude and love. That's not ancestral work. That's not grief work. That's not shadow work. So when we're doing our ancestral work, this requires that you're willing to go into your darkness and that there is shadow work being done. There's grief work being done. There's trauma work being done. Ancestral work is not just giving your ancestors your gratitude and your love. That's not ancestral work. That's part of it. And certainly we're grateful, right? And there's probably a sense of gratitude that is there. I hope so. But underneath that, there needs to be a balance with the grief work. So if you're just doing the love and the gratitude, that's not your ancestral work. That's spiritual bypassing. And I invite you to ask yourself, who taught you that? Where did you learn that only the positive emotions are okay? Where did you learn that anger, sadness, disappointment, grief, loneliness, longing, anger, rage, these challenging emotions, where did you learn that is somehow wrong or bad or unacceptable, because that's where your work begins. And it's certainly going to be an ancestral piece, that somehow in the lineage there's this disconnection with the emotional body. And I could give you a whole thesis on why that happens, and we could probably blame religious dogma and religious trauma for a big part of that, and colonization. And there's probably a whole heap of immigration trauma and all kinds of things lurking there. But that disconnection with the emotional body is a big piece of the work that most of my clients realize, oh, I'm doing part of it, but I'm not really going into the deeper layers here, and I'm missing something. And the only reason why this really matters is because you come to me and you say, I want more nourishment. I want more nourishment. I want to feel content. I want to feel satisfied on a soul level. I want to feel as though I'm living my wholeness. I'm sharing my wholeness, my gifts, my wisdom, my medicine in this world. But you cannot get there. You cannot feel wholeness if you are not doing the grief work. The grief work is the necessary piece. It's balance, dark and light. So this is where people really miss it. And it's frustrating to see, of course, it's sad. And, my job is to help you really recognize those places where you might be missing the shadow work, the grief work, the trauma work, and where the disconnection is with the ancestral body, so that you can find more wholeness and more contentment, more nourishment in body and life. And that comes through, of course, tending to those dark places. Our Jyotish chart can help us shine light on these dark places. That's the purpose of Jyotish. It's a healing and transformation tool, specifically used for dharmic purposes. The problem is that people are not taking this work deep enough, and they're stopping at the level of the self, instead of using the Jyotish chart to understand the ancestral body and the deeper layers of karma at play that are impacting every aspect of your body and life, and yes, including your Dharma. So my whole passion is making sure that contract workers understand you are a contract worker. You need to know you're a contract worker. If you are a contract worker, meaning you are hired by the ancestors to fulfill a duty, to restore Dharma to the lineage, to create wholeness for the lineage, meaning there's a big imbalance somewhere in the lineage, and there's been generations of adharma taking place. The ancestors will hire someone, a soul, a very strong soul, to come and restore the balance to the lineage, to bring Dharma back into the lineage. And as a contract worker, that means you're going to be sharing and reawakening these lineage gifts that have been lost. So that's your duty as the contract worker. So it's very problematic if you don't know that you're a contract worker and that you've been hired by your ancestors to restore Dharma to the lineage, and I don't even know what my gifts and wisdom are, and I don't know what the lineage gifts and wisdom are. It's very problematic. And your Jyotish chart is the map that supports you in this clarity so that you don't lose your connection to the truth. You don't lose the connection to, this is my duty. This is the duty that my ancestors hired me to complete. I must complete this dharmic contract, or guess what? You got to come back. I don't know about you. I don't want to come back. I don't want to do this again. And so We need to know, what is my contract? How do I fulfill this duty? How do I work with my ancestors? They want to support you in this. They hired you. They have an invested interest in you getting this contract complete and fulfilling the dharmic duty. They want you to do this. They want to support you in this. But that's a problem when you aren't working with your ancestors, when you're not connected and you're not working together as a team to get this job done. And so my big passion is making sure that contract workers know, oh, I am a contract worker. First of all, this is my duty. I've been hired by my lineage. This is a contract I'm here to fulfill. How do I best fulfill this? And of course, how do I share my gifts and wisdom in this world in order to continue to fulfill the contract, the duty that I have with this lineage? Because the lineage wants this Dharma to be fulfilled and they want this to be shared. This is just for me quietly alone in a corner. No, we're at a very pinnacle point in the evolution of this planet. And there's a reason why you were hired as a contract worker right now, this time and place on planet Earth. And I can't tell you why this lineage, why this time. I would never pretend to know those ways of karma. But one thing I do know for sure, after working with contract workers for well over a decade and really coming into this over the last 5 or 6 years and seeing the patterns over and over and over again, and I can't unsee what just keeps showing up at my door. And the thing that is so important to remember is that this timing is absolutely impeccable for you and your lineage. Think about it. 100 years ago, even one generation ago, the resources and tools that you have available to you right now were simply not available. The ability for you to heal, to transform, to grow, to awaken, that was just not possible for your ancestors. Most of our ancestors were simply in survival mode. Survival mode does not allow you to fulfill Dharma. In fact, this survival mode is a big reason why there's been so much adharma in your lineage and why Dharma has been lost. And I see it with every single contract worker that comes to my door. And it's always an immigration story, a survival story of some sort that has perpetuated the adharma in the lineage. And now that you're not in survival mode, you have a roof over your head, you're eating every day, you're relatively safe in your body. Now is the time where you can actually commit to, and the body is available for some of these new layers of healing and transformation that are required for fulfilling dharmic duty and for reawakening those lineage gifts. So I just want to remind you of the importance of this timing. The timing is so important. And that's one thing that Jyotish really teaches us. And, I've been studying Jyotish most of my life, started around age 7. And over the last decade, working with, hundreds and hundreds of clients who now I realize are contract workers. And the theme that I've seen over and over again is always trust timing. That's something we learn studying Vedic astrology. Boy, timing is everything, and timing is impeccable, and trust timing, right? Because there's nature support here. So if you can hear what I'm saying, and you know what I'm saying, because not everyone can hear what I'm saying, that means that your ancestors are trying to get through to you. They're trying to nudge you, maybe push you even into resources, tools, guidance, awareness that is going to help you with your ancestral relationship, help you fulfill this contract, and to stay connected to your Dharma and your duty. So if you can hear what I'm saying, this is a reminder that your ancestors are trying to get through to you. Because I will tell you another thing that I have seen over and over again. The people that come and, book a clarity session or are in my Dharma circle or whatever, the ones that can hear what I'm saying, they know that their ancestors are trying to push them in the direction of, we've got to do this work together. We've got to do this work together. And now's the time. And if you can't hear what I'm saying, that's fine. Maybe it will change down the road. Ask your ancestors to help you. But if you can hear me, know that there are resources and tools and support, and I'm here to help you in any way that I can. Ask your ancestors to help you, and book a clarity session with me. That's a good place for us to begin. Let's just have a chat. What do you need? What's showing up on the path? And what resources can I offer you? So I'll post a reminder below, but just comment clarity if you want to have a quick chat. Let's see where you are, see what your ancestors need, and I'll try to point you in the right direction or offer some resources. My Ancestral Awakening mini course is starting next week. This is the last chance to join. And the conversations that I've been having with people are just a reminder of how much this work is needed and how much misinformation is out there, even in the Jyotish world and in the yoga world. People afraid to do their ancestral work. People scared to offer their grief to their ancestors. A lot of spiritual bypassing going on out there. It's really sad to me, and it's one of the reasons why I decided to just do a live about this, because I feel so passionate about people knowing what, first of all, using the Jyotish chart for healing and transformation really looks like, and why ancestral work needs to be included in that. And then the other piece around what is ancestral work. And no, it's not just love and light. So let's do the work. And if you'd like to join me and do some ancestral work and some Jyotish and use this tool, this ancient tool, in a way that is for healing and transformation, comment clarity below. Let's have a chat. Jyotish has always been used for healing and transformation and dharmic purposes. This is the highest purpose of Jyotish. It's not for prediction, and it's not about me, and what do I need and my Dharma. It's about you and your lineage work and restoring Dharma to your lineage, bringing this wisdom, this medicine out into the world. And of course, timing is so important, and this is the timing right now. And we don't really have any time to waste. In case you haven't noticed, things are moving very quickly on this planet right now. We could even say maybe in America, even faster than other places. And we need you. We need you to step into your power, your purpose, your clarity, and be firm and clear in your dharmic duty and move forward so that you and your ancestors can get this job done. So comment clarity below. Let's have a chat. And I look forward to seeing you in my Ancestral Awakening mini course. Take good care, everyone. Bye. Blessings to you and your ancestors.